Today we're going to do a simple install of the Red Sea dose and the brand new complete reef care system. Let's go. Hey Reef Builders, my name is Remy and welcome back to another video. If you could, real quick, please like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you know whenever we post new videos. A couple months ago, Red Sea came out with their complete reef care 4-part dosing program. They sent some to us free of charge to test out at the Reef Builders Studio. So let's head back to Denver to meet up with Chris Kapp from Aquatic Art. Hey Reef Builders, it is Remy. I'm here at the Reef Builders Studio with Mr. Chris Kapp from Aquatic Art. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Fantastic. We are going to do some upgrades today. So I know it's been a while since we've done any upgrades, anything different on some of the tanks in the Reef Builders Studio. So we're at the Red Sea Peninsula. Red Sea just came out with the complete reef care. So this is a 4-part dosing program that is based off of one parameter, and that is calcium. So the whole thing is that you take one calcium measurement a week and you base the entire program off of that number. So
yeah. It replaces their 7-part that they had before. So they had calcium, alkalinity, magnesium, and then the 4 trace elements, and so it all combines it so you can put it on a reef dose, 4-head reef dose.
Yep.
And dose everything.
So this will be interesting. This is the initial install, so obviously we're not going to have a lot of anecdotal results from this in this video, but we'll get it installed and we'll do some updates here in the next couple months. So let's go ahead and get this started.
All right, let's go.
So we're currently running somewhat of a Red Sea program right now, right?
Yes, yeah, the ABC, which is the alkalinity, calcium, and magnesium. So when we switch over to this, it should be very similar because I'm sure the concentrations are pretty close.
When the Reef Dose launched a couple years ago, Jake actually installed it on the Red Sea Peninsula. At some point, he switched that out for Sea Chem dosers to test. The studio was always meant to be ever-changing and available whenever new equipment comes out that needs to be tested. But today, we will be returning the Red Sea Peninsula back to its roots.
You know, when you think of this care program, you know, we're not talking about zeroing in fluoride. You know, we're not talking about anything, you know, moonshiners or most of the people that come in our store, you know, want to dose, but how do you do it? How do you know, without really, you know, getting heavy into ICPs and that extra cost.
When you get into the moonshiner stuff, it's like now you've committed yourself to dailies and dosing drops every day, and you know, for some people that's great, and for the people that do have good luck with it, but I mean for the average hobbyist who is going to be going on vacation a couple times a year or whatever.
That's exactly right. And we're talking about the average hobbyist, you know, and the people that come in, 90% are average hobbyists.
Yeah.
You know, it's only the 10% that really get into all that. But
yeah.
So since we have this shelf, then but it comes with something to mount it up.
Yeah.
But, we're just going to put it on the shelf like it was existing, so I'll leave it on there for future use. But one of the coolest things about Reef Dose is it'll tell you when your product is about to run out, how many days you have left. For anybody that's got, you know, busy life, kids, and all that kind of stuff, they need that reminder, and it can be set up as a notification on their phone.
Yeah.
Hey, you need to go fill up your product. So.
And one thing about this program too is that they're all supposed to be exhausted at the same time, right?
In theory, yes. Yeah, it's supposed to all go through in the same time, so you would empty everything at the same time and then recharge it.
Yeah.
It's cool here, but since this is such a new product, that they give you the labels for the complete reef care with the product. So we're going to pull the stuff from the reef care and we'll label all the lines with that.
I didn't realize they had that in there until I had run everything already.
And then you're like, dang it.
Look at it, they're new.
All right, so now we opened up the Reef Care product and we have new tags. So as you get all the pumps going, you have to calibrate everything. And so they give that to you during that process. So I'm going to put the calcium in it, magnesium on number 1, and then number 2 is going to be the alkalinity. And they do pH stabilizer, which I assume is just the alkalinity part of that. And then number 3 was kind of cool. They give you a couple for the lines, and then they give you one for each head.
That's nice. That's super nice.
Yeah, and they actually are made for this, so you know how they have the slide outs for the Red Seas, and then they have the basket on the bottom.
Yep.
You can put them in the basket.
Okay.
Now this one might be tough because it's pretty big.
Yeah,
you know,
it's wide.
I haven't measured the width of that basket, but this way you can. So maybe you can put most of them and then have one on the side. But Red Sea comes out. They have 2 color schemes for their, and so I just grabbed this one, and I think the other one matches these colors, but we're going to make do with the color coding.
That's why we have the labels.
Yes, once again. So I guess we can get as close as we can. So the product, the way all Red Sea products, especially the dosing, they have a little nipple on the top where you can do the connect your tubing to it. But you also, there's a piece of tubing that they sell that has a wider diameter than this, that goes on the underside of that cap and then goes down to the bottom of the product.
And that's more of a rigid tube, right?
More, yeah. It's silicone, but it's still a little thicker, so it makes it a little bit more rigid. Yeah. One thing is you don't want to screw it on really tight. Otherwise, you need a little bit of air to go in. Otherwise, it's going to implode. So as we go, we're going to just make sure we don't want any evaporation, but we don't want it to be really tight either. So a little bit of air has got to get in there. But we're just going to cut lines. And we're going to go from 1. We'll put that in. And since we have the labels, we're going to take the calcium and magnesium label, and we'll just put it right on there. All right, so we got this side all done. Everything, they're all labeled. I usually leave a little slack so I can get stuff in and out instead of making them really tight there. Plus, we may rearrange if we have any other equipment we want to put in. And then over on this side, we get them secured, and the lines run with these cool Red Sea clips. You can either screw them in or you can do double stick tape. I just did double stick tape on those sides. Cut the extra. I'll save it for if I ever get a clogged line or something like that. I'll have this extra that I can bring over. And I'm going to go through the chase. And since I have one more of these guys, then I'm going to put it on that back side and secure it there. And then we'll run it right down to this side with the last part of the process.
Yeah, that clip is nice. I like those. So once you've connected the dose, now it's time to calibrate each head. The Reef Beat app will take you through exactly how to do it, but this is where you're going to need that graduated cylinder. From there, you'll select the Red Sea Complete Reef Care program within the app, and it will take care of the rest from there. Red Sea also has a couple of setup videos that I'll include in the description below. So if you're not exactly sure where your calcium sits at the moment of setup, that's okay. They've got some pre-programmed recommendations within the app that you can choose, or you can just test your calcium and calibrate from there.
Now we're right at 4.0.
Cool. Yes, continue. All right, so this is all installed. We got the 4-part doser on the system. We ran the lines and everything. And then we've got the complete reef care here on the system. So what are some of the things that you really liked about the install of these? Because we can't really speak to how it's working on the tank yet.
Sure. Yeah, and we luckily, like we were talking about it, we already use the Red Sea product, so it's probably going to be very similar as far as the calcium and alkalinity and magnesium. But I think the cool thing is that you put it in, and as we went through the app, is that it kept those same ratios. So we knew that we were going through about 60 milliliters of calcium through the Red Sea product already. And as we went through the app, then it calculated everything for us. So all of them are set on that same schedule.
And then my advice from a hobbyist standpoint is test every day afterwards and just see what kind of happens. See how your levels are going up and down and all that kind of stuff. And I think if you're a beginner diving into a dosing regimen, this is perfect. They do a lot of the work for you. You have the trace elements, you have all the major elements in here, so should be good to go.
Yeah, and I mean, you don't have to have 32 bottles of, fluoride. I need 2 drops of fluoride. Yeah. And some people love that. And, I do some of that at our store as well. But for most people that come in our store, they're not going to go through that process. And that's what this incorporates everything there.
Yep. Good entry level stuff right here. And like you said, if you want to get into that more advanced stuff down the road, you totally can. So,
Chris, thank you for helping with the install on this.
Oh, yeah.
On the Red Sea Peninsula. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Huge thanks to Chris Capp for stopping by the studio. I've said this before, but if you're ever in the Denver area, you got to stop by Aquatic Art Inc. So the complete reef care program has been installed on the Red Sea Peninsula for a little over a month now. I texted Jack this morning to see how everything was going. He said, corals have never looked better, so 2 thumbs up there. Obviously, we're always trying to maintain stability. There's a lot of tanks in there and no complaints in that department, so that's good. I think the only con would be price, and that depends on the size of your system and what kind of corals you have inside. So if that's something that fits into your financial budget for the month, go for it. This thing is pretty much set it and forget it. This is also a good program for beginners, maybe with an average size tank, average size bio load. I would recommend it just to start, see where it takes you, and maybe you'll make some changes down the road. We'll definitely give you an update at the 6-month mark and then again at the year mark as well. If you're curious and would like to purchase, make sure to head to saltwateraquarium.com. I've left the direct links right there in the description below. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification, and I'll see you in the next one.